Calgary Northwest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the previous session of the Legislature, we provided sound advice to the government on Bill 6. My colleagues from Grand Prairie, Vermilion and Calgary Southeast suggested numerous amendments to improve Bill 6 and make sure that the mistakes they made before weren't made again. In spite of the help offered, it appears the government wasn't actually listening. To the Agriculture Minister, rural Albertans are still concerned about how Bill 6 is going to affect their families. What was the rationale behind holding the consultation meetings only in Calgary and Edmonton, as opposed to, say, actual rural communities?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the member for the question. Initially, we're still working on the number of members and the names of the members who are agreed on these consultation tables, the technical working groups. Once we have that, we're going to remain somewhat flexible. If there's looking that some of those tables would have a better location to meet, we're going to remain flexible. But as for now, those initial meetings will be in Calgary and Edmonton, but we'll remain somewhat flexible to look around the province to see if there's another area that would make more sense. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For a supplement.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the time to be flexible was when you started the consultation. It's no wonder rural Albertans are suspicious of this government, holding consultations in urban centres, holding consultation meetings during seeding and harvest. It seems they're doing everything in their power to keep farmers and ranchers from showing up. To the Minister of Agriculture, everyone supports making farms and ranches safer working places. Will you agree to make a more fulsome consultation process so that all the voices are heard?
You're here. Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the member for the question. It was always the plan to be as flexible as possible, to assure that we have as many voices as possible. A second stage of consultation we'll be able to have, once we have the recommendations, the technical working groups, to then have the government write a draft regulations. Those draft regulations will be available as well, to hear from as many Albertans, farming and ranching community, everybody interested in all Albertans, to have their input at that time. And I'm looking forward to continuing this process. Thank you.
Second supplement.
Well, Mr. Speaker, we got a lot of folks here who can tell you where the rural areas are. I recall the former Jobs Minister telling this House that consultations last fall highlighted democracy in action. Given that it's now clear the government has decided that limited involvement from both rural Albertans and stakeholders is superior to actual feedback to the Premier, will you hold back on drafting any new regulations until proper consultation is done?
Hear, hear. Honourable Premier.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. There's absolutely no question that we will do that, and that is the message that we have delivered consistently throughout this. And to be clear, the people who have already been talked to about participating in the working groups are rural Albertans, are farmers, are chicken producers, are canola producers. Those are the people that are being talked to. So it's absolutely ridiculous to suggest that we are not talking to rural Albertans, because that's exactly who we'll be talking to, Mr. Speaker.